Salsa Legends and Masters Academy exclusive interview with Edwin Sanchez, pianist, arranger, band leader. He's like the man here in Chicago, and I have this opportunity. His family's sitting with us, but they're going to be low key. I have an opportunity to speak with Edwin because I'm here in Chicago. It's cold, but we're hanging in there.
Nice.
Uh,
It's awesome to have you, Pete.
I'm glad to be here. Last night, opening night at the Chicago Salsa Congress, Edwin had his band of all-star musicians, and they were awesome. I mean, I knew they would be good because, you know, Edwin's at a certain level, and the guys that he associates with are the top, the best in the area. But they were awesome. Individually,
Thank you.
as a group, they were awesome. I was highly impressed. I was honored to be able to sit in with them and jam on a few tunes. It was fun. So, Edwin,
Nice.
we know each other how long now?
You know, I want to say about 15 years,
15
maybe?
years, yeah. You were living in New York back then when I met you.
Probably even more, but yeah.
And we played together a lot with Ray Sepulvera's band. For the people who don't know you, tell us, briefly about how you got started in music and where you lived and how you got to
I grew
where
up
you are now.
with a musical family. My uncles, my dad played trio music, and so during the Christmas holidays, they'd always get together and play in the house, and so I was always exposed to that kind of music, And needless to say, this is part of my culture, and so I grew up wanting to know more about the music that I grew up with, and eventually got involved in playing salsa music. There was a place here called the Salsa Congress that.
There was a club by that name?
No, there was it was called the Puerto Rican Congress, where a kid from like the outside could go in and get sort of lessons. We were part of a youth program where we would learn. Our job was to learn music. Like our summer jobs was to learn music
cool.
and stuff, and so we did that. And when I grew up learning more and more, I was young. I was very, very young when I started there. So we got to record with people, like, because they would bring people to give part of like clinics and stuff like that. So they brought Mongo Santa Maria once, Machito, some of Mongo's musicians were there. Just a lot of people. But just basically saying that at a young age I was exposed to incredible,
So
talents.
piano's always been your instrument?
It has. My father worked for Hammond Organ Company since I was a kid, and so we had an organ.
They're the
in our
makers
house.
of the famous B3 organ.
Yeah, and so he was a technician. So we had an organ in the house ever since I was very, very small, and he used to play, and I listened to him. My brother was also a musician, older brother. So I used to just get together and listen and play, and self-taught. Just by listening. I had a good ear at a very early age, and
Some of your influences coming up, who were they?
I like very much Papaluca.
I was going to say, because you play like, of all the piano players I know, you're the closest one to Pablo Lucas swing style. And it's one of the reasons why I love the way you play.
Yeah, I love his style, and Oscar Hernandez was a big influence. Just so many different piano players. I love Chick Corea. I could sit down and just talk about so many different pianists that came in my life. And, Eddie Palmieri, so many. And,
Es que lo voy a trabajar porque está mucha gente So we're resuming. We were in a restaurant. Some people started coming in. Got a little noisy. It's probably a little noisy now, but we're on the road. I'm again with Edwin Sanchez. We're in Chicago. He's driving me back to my sister's house. So we're going to continue with the interview because whether or not you realize it now, it's special to be able to find out more about Edwin Sanchez, who is one of the masters of piano in the genre of salsa. So if you didn't know who he was before, you should definitely know a little bit more about him. So Edwin, you were talking a little bit about how you were influenced. You spoke about Papalooka. You spoke about the programs in Chicago that you were part of. You also these days put together bands for artists that come to the Chicago area from out of town. Who are some of the people that you have been the musical director for, hired to put the band together?
Well, recently I'm doing something this week with Johnny Rivera. I've done Rey Sepulveda's shows last winter here at this place called Alhambra Palace. Luisito Rosario, I've been part of the band that they get together for that, which is the singer from Larry Harlow, and just countless of others.
You've done Frankie Vasquez too, right?
Frankie Vasquez, Rey de la Paz, just Hermano Olivera. We did last summer here at it's called the Bandera, and it's just a local festival that they have every year, and it was very successful. It was very, very nice. But just countless of other singers that come in, and we just so blessed to be able to have that that position, to be able to back them up and do the band for them. I really like doing these things because I want to set a bar. I want to set a standard. When the singers come from out of town, and give them the best that we can here in Chicago. We sometimes have gotten a bad rap, so to speak. But I hope that I'm doing a good job. Everybody that comes says, that's great. So I must be doing something right,
Well, you are doing a good job, man. Because again, I heard the band last night. You guys were smoking. You guys would give any New York band a run for their money. As individual musicians and as a group, you guys were smoking.
Thank you.
Real quick, I've been coming to Chicago since the 70s when I started with Larry Harlow. So it's been a great salsa community, a lot of Puerto Ricans. So it's been one of my favorite places to play. And now that I have family here, I hope I get to come more often and hang out with you, Edwin.
That's right, and I am part of your family, so just so that you know.
I stayed at Edwin's house last night. Thank you for the hospitality.
You got it, bro.
Edwin, when you were in New York, you were part of Sergio George's team. It was called Sir George Productions, right?
Yeah, we were part of that during, what was it, 97 through, part of the new millennium, or, we were there doing production work and helping him out with some of the new artists that he was signing up for his, record label.
Who were some of the artists that you were involved with the productions back then?
Some of them were like Frankie Negron. We were doing some stuff for DLG. I did some stuff for a singer named
in 1 mile.
Luis Damon. The singer Charlie Cardona from the Colombian group.
Charlie Cajares?
No, Cardona, Charlie Cardona. I believe he was with Nietzsche for a while.
Okay.
And so, you know, he was doing his first solo album at the time. And just, you know, so many other artists that came, you know, through that label that he had at the time.
So you actually did some of the arrangements, right?
Yes, I did.
But you didn't necessarily get credit for some of the arrangements. Is that accurate?
It was kind of funny. I can't say that was accurate. I don't, you know, I know that some of the credits weren't there, and you know, I mean, there was so much going on that I'm sure it was an oversight. But
it was a good experience, you know.
Just working with him and you know, and his staff was amazing. I mean, you know, what could we say about Sergio? I mean, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in the field. So I'm still honored to say that I have worked with him and been able to be there. So I'm totally, you know, totally grateful for him.
Yeah, Sergio's the man. Sergio is amazing, all the success he's had. I remember Sergio in the early 70s when he was with a group called Conjunto Caché, and that's where he started arranging. I guess you could call that part of his early schooling, arranging for that band, and he did some arrangements for Grupo Fascinación in the early 80s too, which are still some of my favorite arrangements from that band.
Wow. Yeah. Goes to show you, you know, like the hand he has, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever he touches turns to gold.
Yeah.
That was true back then, so God bless him.
Cool. So what do you got coming up? All right, real quick first, you touched on it before. You and I will be playing together tomorrow, Saturday night, Valentine's Day 2015, which is February 14th.
Yeah.
At the Chicago Salsa Congress. We'll be backing up Rey de la Paz, which was not something that I was supposed to be on, but I mentioned that I would be in town, and the word of mouth, I got a call to do the gig, so I'm happy about that. I'm glad you're going to be on it.
Yeah.
What else do you have coming up? You know, what are things you're working on for your future?
You know, I just got a call. This was pretty cool because, you know, I got a call to do a big band project for el hijo de Rafael Hernández, que se llama Charlie Hernández, and that's going to be in March 21st in Chicago. This place called Ruiz Belvis Cultural Center, and you know, we're going to be performing.
Good. You were saying that you're going to be performing Rafael Hernandez compositions with the big band?
That's correct. And so, you know, we're going to be doing that. You know, and most of Rafael Hernandez compositions in big band, and his son Charlie will be singing them. You know, I think that's an honor for me. You know, it's a wonderful project. You know, what can we say about the music and the compositions that Rafael Hernandez have done? You know, for me to be a part of that, it's amazing. Just talking to his son Charlie and some of the
leave highway and the quarter mile.
Some of the things that you know, that he spoke of during his childhood and stuff that he shared with, you know, and who gets to hear these stories from you know, such a big icon from Puerto Rico, you know.
That's cool.
And so I'm very honored to be a part of that, and you know, I'm hoping that everything turns out well. You know, good turnout and all that.
But for yourself in the future, let's say, what do you see 5 years from now? What will Edwin Sanchez be doing?
You know, Pete, I've been pondering a lot upon, you know, all of the experience that I've had, everything that I've done. You know, I lived in New York for a while, and you know what I was exposed to. It's just amazing, and I continue to get exposed to so many wonderful things. You know what I mean? I laugh because, you know, I have like this thing where I have the front seat to like the greatest concerts, the greatest, just being part of, you know. But what I've been pondering on is, you know, what I could be doing here in the city of Chicago as far as production and recordings. And I think that what I really want to start doing and doing it hard is recording our own original material here in Chicago, setting a standard here in the Midwest that we should have done a long time ago, but
right in half a mile.
for whatever reasons, it didn't happen. But that's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm hoping that I get cooperation and maybe support from other people like yourself and people that I know in the industry to help me do this. And what I want to do is come out with a good album that represents Chicago well,
Well, you can count on my help, but based on what I saw yesterday, you got everything you need here in Chicago. You got great musicians in your network, in your circle. So if anybody that I could think of that could pull that off here in Chicago, it's you, Edwin, because you're a great musician. You are definitely at the level where you can pretty much call your own shots, or at least get the right people to be part of your project. I'm sure everybody will be glad to be a part of it, whether or not you are able to pay them up front. We musicians, we do that a lot. We cooperate with one another. I've done so many recordings that I haven't gotten paid for, but they're my friends and I believe in what they're doing, and I'm sure that's going to be the case with you. So I'm confident that you're going to kick butt in whatever you do, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Pete.
A couple quick more questions before we finish.
Absolutely.
A little bit about the equipment you use and what you practice to stay on top of your game. What equipment do you use for the majority of your gigs? Is there a particular brand, model of keyboard that you like to use?
I gotta say that I don't use a particular brand. And I gotta tell you, for a long time, I haven't really found a piano that I enjoy, that really like. And so what I'm using now is just a basic weighted keyboard, that has a decent piano sound and some good electric piano sounds. But I'm still, I don't know if this is so for a lot of other pianists, but for me, I don't know. It's just trying to balance sound, a good feel, and something that's light enough to be able to go through gigs, and not breaking your back. Nowadays, man, pianist has to carry so much to do the same thing that somebody else is making the same money that doesn't have to carry all that stuff, and it just.
Well, if somebody gave you $2,000, but you had to spend it on a keyboard, what would you buy?
I don't really know. Like I said, I've tried a lot of different keyboards, and I can't say that there's one that I really dig. It's just one would sound good, but not have the right feel.
Yeah.
And one would have the right feel, but not have the
right sounds.
The nice piano sounds that you want. And let me just tell you that the other thing is that when you play salsa music, when you play Latin music, it's not the same thing as playing R&B. So the feel, the textures of the pianos, they're way different, for a pianist that plays salsa than it is. So
I got you. Yeah.
We're shopping different.
I got you.
So
about music books, what do you either still practice, or what did you practice that helped you achieve the level of the musician that you are, musicianship?
Honestly, in salsa music, the montoneos that I play, the stuff that I've done, I've learned off of listening to records and learning from other pianists, and thereon, forming my own style and forming my own montunos and stuff like that. But I gotta say that from what I've seen, there's not really books out there that teach you a lot of the stuff that that we play.
This is true. I'm hopeful that somebody. Matter of fact, Ricky Gonzalez was talking about writing a book.
Yeah.
And if anybody, he's probably one of the top cats that could make.
I agree.
A book that would
I agree.
express it.
He's a clean player, and he's very articulate in his playing, and I totally agree that he would make a very good product if he were to do that.
How about as far as just technique? Forget about Latin, just something that keeps your chops.
No, that's what I was about to say.
Tip-top
That,
shape.
We're a percussion instrument, piano, and this kind of music. You're constantly playing, so it's repetitive, and it's very much like the Hannon book of exercises.
I was going to say Hannon, yeah.
Really the thing that would keep you in shape is just exercises and repetitions like that, and using the Hannon. The Hannon is just the Bible for so many different instruments, and I use it a lot. I don't know if you noticed, but most of the gigs, or if all the gigs that I play, I usually go up and I do my Hannon exercises, or whatever exercises that I have to warm myself up. And I'm sure you have your own also.
Yeah, I do too. Edwin, thank you for,
Yes.
Here's the list.
Absolutely.
For allowing me to jam with the group last night, for
You know what?
for having me over your house last night and hanging out with your family, and breakfast this morning, and the ride to my sister's house. I appreciate it, bro. I love you. You're one of my favorite people on the planet.
Thank you.
And favorite musicians on the planet, but first and foremost, favorite people on the planet, bro.
I appreciate
love
that.
you, and I'm glad to be able to spend a little time with you, and I'm glad that you're able to be a part of my little interview here, so the people who follow such a Legends and Masters Academy can learn more about you, because you are truly a master in my eyes, and I'm sure in the eyes of a lot of other fellow musicians who have either heard you play or had an opportunity to play with you. Thank you, Edwin.
Thank you so much, Pete. I love you too, and it was a pleasure to have you, man.
Thank you, brother. Such a Legends and Masters Academy with master pianist Edwin Sanchez here in Chicago. Signing off.